For more on this issue, I want to bring on Natalie Harp, a member of the 2020 Trump Campaign Advisory Board. So, Natalie, when we talk about the idea of mail-in voting, it's something that even this morning was a little bit contentious. Where does the campaign stand on this issue?
Well, I mean, you look at it, look at what the Democrats did with the whole Iowa caucus. I mean, they couldn't even count their own ballots for the Democratic Party alone. So it's a problem right now when they're talking about these governors that are just mass mailing out these ballots without any kind of voter ID. I mean, you look at California, they're already talking about giving away payments to illegal immigrants. What's to stop them from sending ballots to illegal immigrants? I mean, if we have no voter ID, if people aren't even requesting to vote by mail, or even some people aren't even requesting to vote and they're getting these ballots, what's to stop voter fraud from happening? It's already happening in the states of California. When you're just talking about Nevada, it's already a huge problem. So how can we move forward if we don't even address the problems with the current system?
And you bring up California, and I think that's an interesting transition because they're currently facing another obstacle of their own. In fact, the Justice Department is coming at them a little bit, saying they may not be prioritizing or, in fact, discriminating against places of worship, saying that they're not putting an emphasis on making sure that those people can return to normal the same way as many other businesses are allowed to. Do you think that the Justice Department is right to put scrutiny on this issue?
Yes, I mean, look at California. We've been like a rogue state for so long. I mean, the governor doesn't enforce federal law, right? You have the illegal immigration, you have sanctuary cities, sanctuary state. People can actually rob stores for up to like $1,000 without really being prosecuted. Yet you're going to throw people that want to go to church in jail. You're going to arrest people on the beach if, as the mayor of LA was talking about, oh, you can only go in wet sand, you can't go in dry sand. I mean, this is ridiculous. You're having like a double standard of law. You're emptying the prisons of sex offenders and all this because you're trying to protect people from COVID. And then you're going to throw in jail pastors and surfers and barbershops, owners. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And so I'm really thankful that the president is actually standing up for people in states like California that are like afraid of being thrown in jail for doing nothing but living the American dream, our rights that were given to us in the Constitution. And the governors can't make up their own Constitution. We all live under that Constitution and the Bill of Rights.
I do find it ironic that sometimes a lot of individuals or governors that we're talking about are threatening to put people in jail if they violate these orders, but then they're releasing people from jail in fear of getting coronavirus. It kind of seems like a cyclical door that won't necessarily work. But I remember at the beginning of this outbreak, in fact, I was one of the individuals who was saying that I liked the cooperation between President Trump, between a lot of these governors, whether it be Cuomo, whether it be Newsom. There was cooperation early on, but recently, we've seen a little bit more scrutiny being applied on these governors. Do you think that's coming because people are recognizing the reality of the coronavirus, where we are at this point as a nation, and are a little bit troubled with maybe the civil liberties that are being infringed upon right now?
Well, it's sad. It's like we all came together at the beginning because we had a common foe. We had this invisible enemy we wanted to defeat. But now it's becoming this like tale of two Americas, where you have the capitalist society where we obviously aren't going to go back to the old normal. We're going to go to a new normal. It's a safe normal where people are still looking out for people, but there's going to be death on both sides. If you shut down the economy for a year and just become like Rip Van Winkle, it's not going to make any sense because you're going to wake up and your rights are gone. So we're seeing these principles kind of being tested in different states like California, New York. Look at Florida. What a great job they've done, even with an older population. In terms of not doing a whole statewide approach, they're doing it based on the district, looking at the data on the ground in terms of reopening in different phases based on the needs that are there. So we really are seeing a tale of two Americas. And I mean, even in California, I mean, I'm surprised. Look at the people on the streets that are in their MAGA hats and their American flags and their MAGA flags. It's like people aren't asleep anymore. Before we thought, oh, you're in California, your kind of politics are decided for you because, we're kind of like a country in and of itself. It's run by Democrats. But now people are like, wait, you're telling me I can't go back to my job? I can't go to the beach? I mean, what's the point of living in California if you can't go to the beach or can't go to Disneyland? Yeah. So people are really stepping up and wanting their freedom back. And I think that's going to be big in 2020 because people realize, you know what? Our votes matter. We put these governors in power. We put these mayors in power. And do we really want them telling us how we live our lives?
Yeah, the sunshine tax in California seems a little more steep when you can't necessarily appreciate the sun. But you bring up an interesting point, too. This does seem a little bit divided on political lines where Republican states seem like they're opening up quicker. Democrat states seem like they're keeping their restrictions in place. Do you think that the voters will take this into account when they come out to the polls in November?
Oh, I think so. I mean, even look at Michigan. You see that whole governor is just kind of posturing to hope that Joe Biden's going to pick her as VP, and everything's suddenly become about politics. And voters are realizing now that our votes actually matter, and we don't want to be on lockdown for the next year until a vaccine's approved. We want to get back to life as normal. I mean, after 9/11, we obviously shut down for a while in terms of air travel. But what if we'd said we're never going to go on airplanes again until radical Islamic terror is wiped off from the face of the earth? We would have let terror win. So Americans don't let terror win. We're safe. We take proactive measures. I mean, the president, look at everything he's done from his all of America approach. We have the ventilators, we have testing, where now we have so many tests. They're like, we don't have enough people to test.
Right.
So we're very prepared to combat this. So these mayors or governors that say, let's be shut down for the next year, it doesn't make sense based on how our cupboards are now full. They're not bare anymore, and people are ready to get back to work.
Yeah, and we don't have to explain how important the state of Michigan was in 2016 and likely will be again in 2020. So I think that's going to be a situation that both parties are keeping a close eye on. Natalie Harp, always appreciate you coming on. Thanks for joining us tonight.